Okay, so the next category is box method level 2 guided. So I remember, or hopefully you guys remember, that when we first talked about multiplying these types of things, I showed you a couple methods. I showed you with the box, like the area method, and I also showed you just the regular foiling method. Both of those are on the notes, by the way. So foiling is right over here, first, outer, inner, last. So it's shown to you in box number 11 for foiling, which is what we just did. But also you can use like this area method that is shown in box numbers 10 and 12. And so that's what we're going to be doing over here on this category. So it's good to practice both methods, even though you will probably have a preference. It's good to practice both methods because when you learn a new thing and you know multiple ways to do it, it strengthens those connections in your brain and you end up smarter. So let's set up how many rows and columns we want. Okay, so the number of rows, we're going to just take a look at this first thing, and it has how many terms? I see 4 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to set it as 4 rows. I don't know what's wrong with it, and it doesn't show the number 4, but I just know I selected 4, okay? So you select 4 because there's 4 green terms. Notice 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to select 4. I don't know if you're glitching like this also, or if it's just my computer, but that's okay. Then for the columns, there's how many terms are in your second factor? 1, 2. So I select 2. So once again, I don't know why the numbers 4 and 2 do not appear in the rows and columns. I don't know if that's my computer or if it's Delta Math. I don't know if that's going to happen to you guys, but just know that I selected 4 rows and 2 columns because there are 4 terms here and there are 2 terms here, so 4 by 2. Now, in here you cannot type, but what you can do and what you're supposed to do is just click and drag. Click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. So I want you to take each of those terms and drag it into their spots. And then same thing across the horizontal way. Click and drag, click and drag. Okay, so any questions on that one? So I don't know when I stopped recording that last one, but yeah. Anyways, let's record this one in its entirety. So we're going to use the box method to distribute and simplify 6x plus 2 and negative x cubed minus x squared plus x minus 5. We're going to drag and drop the terms to the correct locations of the table. So to figure out how many rows we want, we look at how many terms are in this first factor. I see 6x plus 2, and there's only 2 terms here, so I'm going to select 2 rows because there's 2 green terms. 2 terms in my first factor, so I select 2 rows. I know it disappears, but just ignore that. Columns. How many how many terms are in my second factor? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to make it 4 columns. And you can see that it pops up with this grid for me, and you want to click and drag, click and drag. So I just drag them into each box, and then for this one, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. Okay, so once I'm done clicking and dragging, then all of these boxes appear for me to type in. So remember, for this first box, we are doing 6x and the negative 3x cubed multiplied together. So I'm going to multiply those two, and I get negative 6 because 6 times negative is negative 6. And then for the x's, there's x to the power of 1 and x to the power of 3. In total, that is x to the power of 4 because there's 1 x here and there's 3 x's here, so 3 plus 1 is 4. Let's do this one. So this one is the negative x cubed times 2. So I'm going to get negative 2 x to the power of 3. The negative 2 comes from the 2 times the negative, so that's just negative 2. There's no x's here, so the only x's that we get are the ones that were on the x cubed. So that's why it stays as an x cubed. Okay, let's go to this box. For this box, we have 6x multiplied by negative x squared. So I'm going to write that this is negative 6x cubed. So the negative 6 comes from the 6 and the negative. And then for the x's, we get x cubed because there's x squared here and there's x to the power of 1 here. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, then the one underneath, we're going to get 2 and the negative x squared. So in total, that's negative 2x squared. The negative 2 comes from the 2 multiplying by the negative, and the x squared comes because there's a negative x squared over here, and there's no x's here, so we're just left with only x squared. For this box, we're going to have 6x multiplied by x, so that gives us 6x squared. So this is a 6 times a 1, gives us a 6. And then we get x squared because it's x to the power of 1, x to the power of 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2. So there's x squared. There's a total of 2 x's that we multiplied. So 6x squared. On this one, we have 2 multiplied by x, that is just 2x. In this last box, we have 6x, or not last box, but in this box, we have 6x multiplied by negative 5, so it's negative 30x. And then in this last box, we have 2 multiplied by negative 5, giving us negative 10. All right, are there any questions on this one? So far, we're not done yet, but any questions so far? And I'm going to click try, and it says correct. Now write the simplified answer in the box below. So once again, when you simplify it, all you have to do is combine the like terms. So I'm just going to circle the like term pairs. So the ones I'm circling are like terms because in that first oval, they are both x cubed, so we're going to combine those. The second oval, they're both x squared, so they're like terms, so I'm going to combine those. And then for the last oval, we got x and x, so those are like terms, so we're going to combine those. Now let's start with the negative 6x to the power of 4. That one, we don't combine it with anything, it's just a solo term on its own. But then the x cubed, we have a negative 2x cubed and a negative 6x cubed. Oh, somebody says there's no keyboard icon on the to the power of. Okay, so you would want to press Shift and 6 to get to that little icon that looks like, wait, I have to annotate. There's so many buttons I could press to annotate. So you want this thingy. It's on the Shift and the 6. When you do Shift and 6, you will get this, and it should let you type as an exponent, okay? Okay, so I got negative 6x to the power 4, and then we want to combine the x cubed terms. So negative 2x cubed and negative 6x cubed gives me negative 8x cubed. And then for the x squared terms, we got a negative 2x squared and a plus 6x squared. So that's a total of plus 4x squared. And then for the last, well, not the last one, but for this pair, we got negative 30x and a plus 2x, which means we want plus 28x, or sorry, not plus, minus 28x. And then, last but not least, we have a minus 10 at the end. We have a minus 10 at the end. It doesn't combine with anything because it's just a solo term. So we combine everything with like terms. I'm going to pause here and see if you guys have any questions. Submit. Yes. Okay. And then I think there's one more category. Oh my gosh, let me get rid of those. They just look like little pickles. Clear all drawings. Okay, the last category is multiply polynomials level 1. So you can either use the box method if you like it, or I know a lot of you guys also prefer the regular old distribution method. So I'm going to show you both of those options, I guess. So if you want to do it with a box method, you just draw your own box on your scratch piece of paper. So there's 2 terms here. So I'm just making it into 2. There's 3 terms here, so I'll just separate it into 3. And you write 2x and the minus 1 for the 2x minus 1. And then for the negative x squared plus 4x plus 6, I would write negative x squared. That's a squared. I write my 4x. And then I write my 6 over here. So if you like doing it with this method, feel free to do it this way. But since we already had 2 examples from this way, I'm going to try showing you guys, reminding you guys how to do it from the other way, which is more similar to the FOIL. But it's literally just distributing. So for this method, I'm going to take that 2x and I'm just going to distribute it to everything. So start with 2x distributed to negative x squared. So that would give us negative 2x cubed. When I take the 2x and distribute it to the negative x squared, that gives me negative 2x cubed. Okay, next we can take that same 2x and distribute it to the middle term, which is the 4x. So 2x times 4x gives me plus 8x squared. Then we can also take that 2x and distribute it to the 6, which gives me plus 12x. Okay, and then, oh, I should have used a different color, but that's okay. I'll just use a different color now. Now we're going to take that negative 1 and distribute it to everything. So I'm going to take that negative 1 and distribute it first to the negative x squared, and it's going to give me plus x squared. And I'm just going to line it up underneath my 8x squared so that later on when I combine like terms, it looks a little bit easier for me. And then also take that negative 1 and distribute it to the 4x, giving me minus 4x. Then also take that negative 1 and distribute it to the 6, giving us minus 6. So all I did here was just distribute, distribute, distribute. It gives you this exact same answer as if you had done it in the area method because it's literally the same stuff that will appear in your boxes. But anyways, let's combine these now. I'm just going to add it straight down because we're really just adding all of these pieces together. We're going to get negative 2x cubed. That one combines with nothing. Now for the x squared, there's two x squared terms. There's 8x squared and there's x squared. So in total, 8x squared plus 1x squared gives us 9x squared. And then what about the x terms? We have 12x and a minus 4x. That gives us 8x. And then last but not least, we have a minus 6 that just hangs out at the end, doesn't get combined with anything. So that would be our final answer. Are there any questions on this one? I'm going to type it in. Okay, I just typed it in. I'm going to submit the answer. And we got it right. So let's go on to the original thing. So I've done, okay, let me clear all of that first. It's so in the way. So we've done examples. We've done all 4 of those together. We did an example from here, 2 examples from here, 2 examples from here, 1 example from here. I think that should be enough. So for the next 30 minutes, you guys can keep working on it. I just also want to say that please, if you need more help, you can click show examples over here. If you like literally just don't remember how to do it. Or if you don't like that, you can click watch help video and you can watch a video on how to do it as well. Okay, so let me stop my recording.